Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we try and make sense of what everyone's talking about.
Yep, pulling it straight from the feed.
And today, well, your timeline's probably exploding. Mine definitely is.
It's a lot.
We've got a real wild mix. Sports, luxury goods, AI, global stuff, even a bit of space chatter.
Like trying to sip from a fire hose, isn't it?
Totally. You've sent some fascinating stuff, so let's just, unpack it, see what's actually buzzing.
Sounds good. There are always interesting threads connecting this stuff, even if it seems random at first. Let's see what we find.
Okay, first up, J.J. Watt, NFL legend, right? He gave us a pretty raw look at his golf game over at Augusta National.
Oh, yeah, I saw that post on X.
He tweeted about playing from the member tees, which is key, dealing with those Sunday pins, brutal, and sticking to the rules, apparently. No mulligans.
Uh-huh. Good for him. What did he shoot?
His score, a 103. He broke it down 49 on the front, 54 on the back.
Wow, 103 at Augusta. That's golfing.
And his reaction, he said, extremely pleased. You gotta love that.
Absolutely. And, for perspective, even those member tees, they're still serious. About, 1,100 yards shorter than the championship tees?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not your local pitch and putt.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Augusta's reputation for difficulty is, legendary. It tests everyone.
Right, like he even mentioned struggling on number 12, the par 3, Golden Bell.
Well, everyone struggles there. What happened?
Bunker, then a 3-putt. Ended up with a 5.
Oof. Yeah, that sounds about right for Golden Bell. It just shows that course demands absolute precision.
Even from an elite athlete like Watt. Different sport, same pressure cooker, kinda.
And it's cool seeing that competitive drive, The same guy with, 114.5 NFL sacks.
Is that that guy?
Out there grinding on the golf course. We actually saw a note. He shot like a 144 somewhere else a few years back. Aaron Hills, maybe?
Yeah, 2017. So 103 at Augusta now. That's actually massive improvement.
It really is. Shows that drive, doesn't it? What makes guys like that tick, even after reaching the top?
Good question. Okay, let's pivot hard. From the green jackets to, very expensive handbags.
Ah, the Birkin bag debate.
Exactly. There's this viral video, and the excellent at dye workwear chimed in. Some people are saying a Chinese-made Birkin is basically the same as a real Hermes one.
Right, and at dye workwear was like, not so fast. Politely, but firmly.
Yeah. His whole point was, it's not just about the leather or whatever, it's the craftsmanship.
The art of it, basically. He specifically mentioned the Hermes saddle stitch.
The saddle stitch. Okay, break that down. Why is that a big deal?
Well, think about where Hermes started. Back in 1837, making horse harnesses.
Right, saddles and stuff.
Exactly. So that stitch needed to be incredibly strong, reliable, life and death reliable, potentially.
Okay.
So the saddle stitch is hand-sewn, 2 needles, 1 thread going through the same hole from opposite sides, creates this super strong interlocking stitch.
Ah, so not like a regular sewing machine stitch.
No, totally different. Machine lock stitches. If one part breaks, the whole seam can potentially unravel. With the saddle stitch, even if one bit fails, the rest holds. Durability is the key.
So it's foundational. Not just fancy branding. It goes back to their actual roots.
Precisely. And at dye workwear had that great analogy. It's like cooking. Just having tomatoes and flour doesn't mean you can whip up a Michelin star meal.
Good one. You need the skill, the technique.
Exactly. The artisan's touch, the years of practice. That's what makes it special. He wasn't knocking other skilled craftspeople, just saying they don't necessarily replicate that specific Hermes standard. It's this whole tension between mass production and true handcraft.
Really interesting distinction. All right, prepare for whiplash again. Next up, Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO.
Oh, yeah. What's he saying now?
He put out this pretty intriguing hypothetical question on X, aimed squarely at high-frequency traders, HFT folks.
Okay, what was the scenario?
It was kind of philosophical. Like, imagine you're an HFT, maybe feeling some existential dread, and then you see his tweet asking, could those skills you have optimizing systems down to the nanosecond, could they be used for something huge, like building AGI?
Whoa, that's a direct pitch.
Totally. He's basically saying that ability to shave milliseconds off complex systems, which is how you make money in HFT.
Could be vital for developing artificial general intelligence.
Right. Why that specific skill set, though? What's the connection?
Well, think about AGI. You're dealing with insane amounts of data, processing it at incredible speeds. HFT pros are like the masters of building super efficient data pipelines.
Lowest latency possible.
Exactly. Optimizing algorithms, squeezing every bit of performance out, that same relentless optimization mindset. That could be gold for making AI learn and react faster, more efficiently.
Kind of like taking a Formula One pit crew.
And putting them on a Mars rover project. Different goal, same core skills in hyper-efficiency.
But OpenAI is growing like crazy, right? We saw something about 500,000 weekly active ChatGPT users.
Yeah, the scale is nuts. So this feels like Altman strategically trying to poach top talent with this very niche, very valuable experience for their AGI push.
Smart recruiting tactic, maybe? Redirecting that expertise?
Seems like it. Definitely got people talking. Anyway.
Okay, from future tech back to today's sports. WNBA draft time.
Right. Big night.
The official WNBA count confirmed. Dallas Wings took Paige Bueckers, #1 overall.
Yeah, that wasn't a huge surprise. She's incredible.
Pretty much expected. But the buzz online wasn't just about who was picked. It was also about who wasn't, at least not in the first round.
You're talking about Haley Van Lith.
Exactly. There was a definite wave of disappointment or surprise online that she didn't go in the first round.
Yeah, she's a big name. Led TCU to the Elite Eight. Huge talent.
And didn't ESPN have her projected as a first rounder just days before the draft?
I think so, yeah. April 11th mock draft had her in the first. So it shows how unpredictable these things can be.
For sure. And what makes it even more interesting is the timing. Didn't she just debut in Sports Illustrated swimsuit?
Yeah, 2 days before the draft, April 9th.
So you have this huge mainstream visibility boost right before the draft. And then she slips out of the first round.
It really highlights the different kinds of fame, right?
Yeah.
Sports fame, media fame, they don't always overlap perfectly or translate directly into draft stock the way fans might assume.
Yeah, public profile doesn't guarantee a draft spot. Okay, let's switch gears again. Global business. This sounds big.
Yeah, reports coming out that China has told its airlines to basically stop taking deliveries of Boeing planes for now.
Whoa, halt deliveries. That's major.
It really is. Feels like more than just a temporary hiccup. The context suggests it might be part of a bigger strategic push.
Towards their own planes, like that Comac jet.
Exactly. Promoting their domestic C919, built by Comac, reducing reliance on Boeing and Airbus. It feels like a move with potentially significant long-term ripples in the aviation world.
Especially with all the U.S.-China trade stuff going on. Weren't there new tariffs announced just recently, like April 12th?
Yeah, the timing fits that narrative. This could definitely be seen as another piece in that ongoing complex trade dynamic.
Makes sense.
But, we should also remember the challenges Comac faces. Building planes is one thing, but breaking that global Boeing-Airbus dominance, that's a huge hurdle. The C919 is a step, but penetrating the international market is tough.
True. Still, a domestic halt on Boeing that sends a message. And actually, this leads nicely into another trending thing.
Let me guess, the whole made in China debate.
Nailed it. There's this viral tweet basically questioning that old stereotype, that made in China automatically means low quality. It really hit a nerve.
It did. And it connects back to what we were saying about the Birkin bag, right? The person posting is pushing back against that outdated perception.
Yeah, and ironically, a Dye Workwear's thread about why the Chinese bag isn't the same as Hermes actually reinforces the point that quality is nuanced. It's not just the country label.
Exactly. It's about the specific factory, the materials, the skill, the process. Not just a blanket statement about a massive country.
And it's wild when you think about China's R&D spending. Hundreds of billions a year, $584 billion last year, I think.
Yeah, huge investment, yet these old stereotypes about quality, they just stick around.
It's a powerful image to shake off, that legacy of cheap, mass-produced stuff from decades ago, even though so much has changed.
It really has. It makes you wonder how long it takes for global perception to actually catch up with the reality on the ground in manufacturing.
Okay, buckle up. International Politics Corner.
Yeah.
El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele. He met with Donald Trump.
Yes. Saw the buzz about that. Bukele's ultimate challenge or something. And Trump wanting to steal his line.
Yeah, that's the chatter. But the core of the meeting seems pretty serious, dealing with some heavy topics.
Like what?
Well, a key point was this guy, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, apparently wrongly deported to El Salvador. The U.S. Supreme Court actually ruled just days ago, April 11th, that he should be returned.
Okay. So Bukele is sending him back.
Nope. Bukele has publicly refused, called him a terrorist, and said he's not coming back, directly defying a U.S. Supreme Court ruling.
Wow, that's a bold stance. What else did they talk about? Broader stuff, too. Crime. Terrorism. Bukele apparently told Trump he needs to liberate Americans by tackling crime.
Okay.
And maybe the most controversial bit, Fox News reported they discussed potentially deporting violent U.S. citizens to El Salvador.
Deporting U.S. citizens to El Salvador.
Yeah, and apparently Trump didn't immediately shoot down the idea. So some pretty unconventional, potentially legally thorny ideas being thrown around.
Definitely unconventional. All right, from earthly politics to just above Earth, Blue Origin.
Bezos' space company, what's their latest?
Just a simple kind of poetic post on X, weightless and limitless, had a picture of a recent crew.
Nice. Evocative.
Yeah, but the internet being the internet. Someone commented that the crew looked so smooth they could build a wind tunnel.
Ouch. A little harsh, maybe. Bit of a jab about cosmetic work.
Seems like it. A bit cheeky. Anyway. But it's funny. It sort of reminds you, Blue Origin is actually doing serious stuff too, not just tourist flights.
Absolutely. Their whole mission is about enabling life in space eventually, commercial travel, R&D. We saw they've been doing wind tunnel tests on their actual spacecraft for ages, nearly a decade.
Right. Serious engineering behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And that comment about looking smooth, is there actually any weird space science behind that? Like cosmetic stuff in zero-G?
It's funny you asked. There was this tiny mention in a Daily Mail piece. Totally unconfirmed, mind you.
Okay, grain of salt.
Big grain. But it suggested the fluid shifts in your body in zero gravity might temporarily make things like Botox look more effective, less visible wrinkles.
Seriously. Fluid shifts.
Yeah, just because fluids move towards the head. But again, it's anecdotal. No real studies on Botox in space. Just a weird little side thought.
A very 21st century space problem, maybe. Okay, final one for today. Congressman Matt Gaetz.
Okay.
Very concise post. Strong men make good times.
That phrase, it's got history.
It does, right? Comes from that G. Michael Hoff novel. It's that cyclical view of history.
Right. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. Repeat.
Exactly. And the timing of Gaetz' post seems pretty clearly linked to that Trump-Bukele meeting we just talked about.
That's got to be the context, yeah. Gaetz is a huge Trump ally, very vocal.
Far-right libertarian populist, is that the description?
That's generally how it's described, yes. So posting that after Trump meets Bukele, it frames them both as the strong men needed to fix things.
Especially given they discuss controversial stuff like deportations. That phrase definitely adds specific spin.
It does. It taps right into a particular political viewpoint about leadership and solving problems, fitting perfectly with that cyclical history idea.
Well, that was a ride. A super rapid-fire tour through today's X-Buzz.
From golf scores to global trade to space Botox theories.
Yeah. We hit Augusta, Birkin bags, AI recruitment, WNBA surprises, Boeing deliveries, made in China debates, Trump and Bukele, Blue Origin, and finished with a historical aphorism.
It just shows how fast things move, how much information is flying around constantly.
And how interconnected it all feels sometimes, even the weird stuff.
Definitely. Each little tweet or post is like a tiny window onto bigger trends, bigger debates happening all over.
So maybe the takeaway for everyone listening is, as you're scrolling, just maybe pause for a second. Look past the headline. What's the real story? What's the connection? How does this tiny piece fit into the bigger picture?
Yeah, what are the assumptions being made or challenged? Always worth thinking about.
Definitely food for thought. Okay, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.